I live in Sauble Beach, Ontario, and which is on Lake Huron, and about 3 hours north and west of Toronto, where I lived for 27 years. So yeah, it's like living in a park, like a provincial park, and I've got the beach just a couple of blocks away, and I walk the beach every day. It's quite lovely. What I'm doing right now is, what I'm doing right now is I'm helping a church that has been without a minister for 4 years now. And I had retired last fall. I really hadn't intended to get back into Sunday ministry, having done it for 35 years. And anyway, so I live in a part of the country where we don't have any ministers up here. And so the minute I retired, I had all of these job offers. And in fact, I said I was more popular as a retired person than I ever was as a working minister. But anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm really just doing the basics. I'm doing Sunday church, which we're now doing online. We tape our services and post them on YouTube, and some pastoral care. And then in the background, I'm trying to, what shall I say, hold the hand of a very anxious church, because just everything is so different, and things are changing pretty fast in church world, and it's hard. It's hard for churches right now. So that's what I'm doing. I think it was, I knew you were going to ask me this question, but I can't pin it down exactly. It's not because I'm old, it's because I went as a camper. I was pretty young, so that would be in the mid 60s, and things were pretty rustic back then. I mean, all of the facilities that you have, we didn't have. And so those are my earliest memories. I mean, we had kaibos and washstands. We didn't have showers or anything like that. And then I was a counselor in the mid 70s. So 73, 74, 75, something like that. So I think that was it. I did crafts one year. One year I was the craft director. I think that was 75, but I don't know. Around there. It's pretty hard to narrow it down to one word. But if you're going to force me to say one word, I would say, this is going to sound like a churchy word, but I mean it in a deep way. It's soulful. Soulful. And I say that because it's really the first time in my life where I felt something stir inside at a deep level. And I mean, I'd gone to Sunday school and all of that stuff, at church, but it wasn't until having the extended period of time at camp with a community of kind of like-minded people, I guess, to really stir something on the inside. So my word is soulful. I think my favorite camp song is, I have two. Can I give you two? So the one which I sing still in my sleep is One Tin Soldier. So, and even today, even when I sing it, I think, why did I like that song so much? But it just resonated with something, I guess, inside of me. And then the other one, which I have taught to kids in Sunday school, and so I still probably sing it to myself, is that simple little round, love, 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 love. The gospel in a word is love. Love your neighbor as yourself. And I like that so much because it just, to me, it's the gospel. It is exactly what, it just sums up what Christ was all about. So I like it. My family all went to church at Central United in St. Thomas. My mom and dad were just really good, salt of the earth people, and took us to church. I think it was at a time when everybody went to church. All my friends went to church, even though, of course, they all went to different churches. But it was at that time when it was just the thing to do. And so I think that had a big influence, actually, on me, because I was at home at church. It was a friendly place. You know, I knew hundreds of people, but more importantly, hundreds of people knew me. And if I can give you an aside, one of the things that I tell people who are bringing their kids for baptism, I tell them that the most important thing about being a member of a church is that your child has a whole community of people who know you. You know, who your child is known by just a really wide circle of people. And that really was the case for me. And I felt nurtured and appreciated and encouraged. Not just, you know, not just in Christian stuff or faithful stuff, but just as a person. And that really, I think, was formative for me and just never left, right? Whatever little roots got dug down deep in there when I was a child, they just took root and stayed there. I'd say I mean, it's hard to sort out one and to pick out a good memory. So let's see, I'm going to have to give you two because I married my wife at Pearce Williams. So if I don't say that, she's going to kill me, right? So we got married at Vesper Point, and it was a formative place for her and for me. So it just kind of made sense to do that. So that definitely is a very strong memory. And I think an earlier memory that I would share is many rainy nights in those wagons with the rain pouring on the wagons, and they were canvas, I think, at the time, and they leaked like crazy. And, you know, we were sleeping underneath the little beds to try and stay dry. And I mean, it was just really roughing it. And I was a little kid, and here we are out in the great beyond, and kind of scared and excited all at the same time, and just feeling really alive, right? And yeah, that's a very strong memory. It must have happened more than once, and I'm sure that it did. Well, one thing I learned at camp was that even in difficult times, so I guess to put it a different way, even in difficult times, God's presence, which may not be felt, is still evident in the hand of a friend or the comfort of another person. And I think what I'm trying to say is that what I learned from camp is that God's presence in our world takes many shapes and forms, and it's not just an ethereal sort of abstract God in the sky kind of thing, but rather, you know, it's the actual touch to touch. It's the human presence of another person being God to you. And that's what camp teaches us, I think. The best advice I ever received was to not give up on your dreams. And it sort of sounds a little bit like a commencement speech. You know, it's kind of the thing that the class valedictorian will say, and everybody rolls their eyes and, yeah, right, you were supposed to, the principal told you to say that kind of thing. But it's really borne out true for me that when I sort of set my sights on something, make goals, make plans, whatever, that I can achieve them if I don't let go of the dream. And I got some really good advice at a seminar a few years ago, a fellow who was actually a poet. And his advice for writing, but of course it's applicable to anything, was he said, if you're not sure how to get to where you're going, take one step a day. And then after 365 days, you will have made 365 steps. And pretty soon you're close to your goal. And that is very, very true. I've proved it true many times. I read a lot of stuff. I have a stack of books always. In fact, I have a stack of books pretty much everywhere I sit. And I like to read a whole range of things. So the book that I read this week, in other words, just being really current and contextual, is one called Baseball as a Road to God. I was reading it for a sermon. I'm doing a sermon on baseball, and someone had given it to me a few years ago, and I just read through it again. So I'm often reading stuff like that, but I do like to read fiction. I just read a fiction by a guy named Amistad Maupin, and he's a person who I'm surmising has lived through the scourge of AIDS in San Francisco. So all of his stories are about people who have struggled with AIDS and the aftermath of losing all of their friends and whatnot to AIDS back then. And I mean, I lived through all of that myself and lost friends myself the same way. But just really well written and engaging and that kind of thing. But I like to read. I'm a reader, right? So I could spend my whole day reading, and it wouldn't matter what. So the person that I would really, really like to hear, and I don't even know if she's still alive, is Desi Cook. She was the cook. It was a cook named Cook the whole time I was there, and she was I don't know, just a wise woman, and just offered so much wisdom to all of us, those who chose to get to know her. She was cool. So I don't even know if she's still alive. Maybe not. It's been probably almost 40 years. And the second person I would want to hear, I'm sure that people have mentioned Murray Barnett to you, but his wife June, I'd really like to hear her answer the questions, because she's a very wise woman, and I know that she you know, I know her well enough to know that she really enjoyed her time at Pearce Williams, and I just would like to hear her reflect on it. Yes, there is something I would like to add, and if that's okay, because I've known a lot of ministers, and I've worked with hundreds of ministers, happy ones and sad ones, and I spent 8 years in Toronto working with 700 ministers. I was the personnel minister for that conference, so I got to know a lot of ministers really well. And a constant theme in the ministers that I really trusted and appreciated for their ministry was camping background. So church camping made a lot of ministers, and it was almost like the farm system for a baseball team, right? And I would hate to ever see us lose that, because it's just such a good entryway for people into ministry. In terms of why people should support Pearce Williams, I think of my own grandchildren. So I have 3 grandchildren, 6, 4, and 2. And I don't think any of them yet are able to go to camp, let's say, for one reason or another. Obviously, they're pretty young. But when they are, I would covet for them the same kind of experiences that I had as a child. And just to be able to become integrated with the natural environment, and to learn to love God and other people is reason enough for me. So, you know, we need places like Pearce Williams and other church camps as well. But I mean, Pearce Williams is the one that's close to our hearts. Yeah, we need them to keep doing what they're doing.